We have a multiplication in problem 12. So let's factor each numerator and denominator. The first numerator is a trinomial. So the first coefficient is 1, therefore we can simply find the factors of the last coefficient, 6, that add up to -5. So those numbers are -2 and -3. So we just cancel, factor it as x minus 2 times x minus 3. And the first denominator will stay as 1 minus x for now. So it's prime, we don't need to factor it, we can't factor it anymore. So let's look at the second numerator, x squared minus 1. This is the difference of squares and can be factored as x minus 1 times x plus 1. And the second denominator has a greatest common factor of 4. That can be factored as 4 times x minus 2, 4 times x minus 2. Okay, so here I've forgot to put the 2 in the solution. Okay, so let's look at the common terms. We see that the x minus 2 here in the numerator and the denominator in the other denominator will cancel out. So we will have x minus 3 in the first numerator, and we just copy the other rational expression by simply leaving out the x minus 2. So similar to the previous question, here in the first expression we have x minus 1, and here we have 1 minus x. So in such a case, they are very alike but not exactly the same. We have to, so one is minus, one is plus here. We have to rewrite one of them by factoring out a -1. So we choose to factor out a -1 from the first denominator. So if we factor out a -1, we will end up with -1 plus x, which can be rewritten as, so we just reorder the terms. So we have x first and -1 later, so we have a -1 times x minus 1. So we now have x minus 1 are common in the numerator and denominator here. So these cancel out, and we are left with a negative here. So we can just put it in front, or you can leave it in the denominator. You can multiply it with 4. But anything, so a negative denominator, so division by a negative number will make the whole expression negative. That's why it's better we put the negative in front. And we just multiply the remaining terms. So we have x minus 3 and x plus 1 in the numerator and 4 in the denominator.